This is going to be my Get to Know Me project. So, who am I? I am Cooper Nason. I came here from Castle Rock, Colorado, and I play baseball, and I am playing baseball for Northeastern. As far as where I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. I lived there for 14 years, and then I moved on Thanksgiving weekend, my freshman year of high school. So my second half of the year was spent in a whole new state. So that was a fun learning experience. So who am I the closest to? I'm closest to my brother. He's always been there. He's always been along my side. He's always been able to teach me lessons. He's been there for me in so many different places. So I'm always the closest to my brother, and he's always there whenever I need him. The best memory that I had from the break was getting to travel to New York as my graduation gift. These were some of the pictures that I took and some of the places that I visited. It was really cool down there. It was an amazing experience, and I would love to be able to do it again. As far as why I was taking business ethics, it was mainly because it was recommended to me by whoever helped me pick out my courses. And it also fit into my credits, but I was told that you were going to be a great teacher and I was going to enjoy this class. So that is why. And what is my major and why I picked it? So I did pick business, major in arts, but that was because it was going to work the best with my schooling hours and my high school as far as my learning gap in high school. So it was very straightforward, and it gives me a usable degree, one that I can carry on with and use in so many different places. So my favorite meal is going to be a Philly cheesesteak. I honestly don't like onions or mushrooms, so I don't like whenever they put that on. I just like whenever it's just meat and cheese. Those are my two favorite things. And then my favorite snack is by far Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Having a good bowl of cereal, or even just being able to eat these, they taste so good, and it is by far the best snack and cereal. So my dream house is in South Carolina along the coastal part. So it's more so on the bottom row, like these houses. Those are kind of my dream houses, being able to live in a place that looks like those. But I want to be able to live on like a coastal town, and like a smaller town that I can go fishing, go visit some markets, those type of places, which South Carolina fits perfectly into that. So if I could have any superpower, it'd be teleportation. And I say that because I could never be late to anything. And if anyone ever needed any help, I'd be able to teleport. And there's just so many good things you can do with teleportation. Like if anyone's ever in dire need, like I said, you'd be able to instantly teleport and help them out. And my three wishes would be my dream job that I could never get sick of. I would love waking up and being able to go to work and live within my morals, be able to understand that I did everything that I could to be a good man, and never let money be a factor of how I live my life. I always want to be free in what I do and never have money decide how I'm going to live my life and dictate how I'm going to act towards people. So what is success to me? I say that's simply setting a goal and accomplishing it. So that could be like climbing a mountain, like in the picture, and finishing it. Or you can look deep into it as setting a goal as being financially responsible, being quote unquote rich, and being able to finally say that you accomplished that and that you are rich. So that is success to me. And there's not much more to it other than just being able to accomplish what you want. So, in my idea, the purpose of life is to serve our Lord Jesus Christ and live inside my morals. And I base my morals based off of Catholicism, and that's how I live my day-to-day life. That's how I go about treating people. So, as long as I feel as if I haven't fallen into any sins and live my life underneath those, I feel like I'm living within my morals. And the purpose of my life was just to be more successful than I ever thought I could be and live comfortably and be a happy man. So if I could bring any album onto an island, I would bring Currents by Tame Impala. I have been listening to this album for many, many years, and it has constantly been there to help me. And even if I say help me, there's so much more to it. Like, I love this album. I've done so much with it. And then with the movies, they range a little bit. I love Step Brothers. I love comedies. Will Ferrell is one of my favorite actors. But then I also like a movie like Donnie Darko because I like the eerie feeling and like the suspense of it and not knowing, and honestly being like a hard movie to understand but still being understandable in the end of the day. And then I also really like Grown Ups. That was such a good movie. That was by far one of my favorites, so you always got to have one of those. And then I don't read too many books, but if I could have like one randomly selected for me, it'd be like a hypothetical book or a book about mental illnesses and why they are a thing and how they can affect people. Like, I love reading about that. I love being able to learn things, and I love being able to question and think about myself. So what is my biggest fear? My biggest fear is simply not being able to become successful within my morals and my well-being. So as far as well-being, I want to be able to be healthy throughout my whole life and not get to the point where I'm struggling every day to wake up and live my life. And I want to be successful within my morals while not being too worried about being successful, and just being able to worry about being comfortable enough to live a happy life with a happy family. That's my biggest fear, is not being able to accomplish that. So what is my drive every morning? The simplest way to put this is the fact that I was wake up in an able body with a clean mind. So what I mean by that is I'm able to walk to class, I'm able to play baseball, I'm able to do all this every single day. And if something were to happen the previous day, I can wake up this next day and not have to worry about what happened the previous day at all. That is in the past for a reason. So that is simply my drive every morning and why I'm able to live my day-to-day life. So journaling, to me, it could benefit me by being able to say things I never got to or wanted to. So by being able to say the things I never got to, be like a person that I'm not in contact with anymore, or a person that I personally don't have like the heart to tell them, and it's a little too difficult to tell them, or being able to like say the things that like I wish I could have done, like not even about a person, like simply being able to become more competitive, or not even competitive, like being able to live my life more fulfillingly throughout high school and earlier in my life like I am now. So if I could choose any way to be remembered, I'd want to be remembered as a family man and a believer, is what I say. And I chose this picture because in LeBron's MVP speech in 2014, he said that his biggest accomplishment was his children, which is exactly how I want to be. I want my kids to be more successful than I ever will be. And if there were no limits as what I could do for work, I would play professional baseball in MLB. While it is such a taxing sport, I still love it every day, and I will work as hard as I can every day just to be good at it. And if I could provide a service that's always needed, I'd say I could be a therapist, because I feel like I'm very open to ideas. I'm always able to help someone out in a time of need, and I can always be that person who can help someone out, no matter the cost or the case. And if I wrote a book or gave a TED Talk, what would it be about? And I would I would talk about what having to deal with a person who has a mental illness is like. I have gone through plenty of situations where I've had to deal with people who are extremely bipolar, people who are extremely narcissistic, and I feel like some people may not know that they're dealing with those type of people. So I would love to be able to talk about my experiences and what it's like to live with someone and be with someone who is like this, just so that they don't have to go through that and they can understand that this isn't healthy and it's not normal. So one of the significant challenges that I've noticed is meeting new people. I'm not very good at having to socialize and talk to people I probably have never talked to before. So that's by far been my biggest issue my whole life, and I want to be able to change that. And one of the coping skills I use for that is asking someone who knows them. So if I've been able to know someone for a while and then they try and introduce me to someone, I can ask for like a rundown on the person and who they are and how they act, because I find that to be so much easier to just know even a little bit about the person before I have to meet them and talk to them, because I can be a very awkward person. So when can I really be myself? It's when I'm with people who have similar beliefs to me, like who live by the Bible, who are able to understand right from wrong, who are able to understand when they do something bad and are able to forgive themselves and other people. So I love being around those kind of people because it's so easy to be yourself, because if you mess up, they're not going to hate you for it. They're going to forgive you. And when I struggle to really be myself is whenever I'm under a ton of pressure, like whenever I have a ton of due dates, whenever I have a ton of people who feel like I'm going to be judged by. That's whenever I feel like I struggle the absolute most. So one of my personal and academic achievements, one thing that I've prided myself in a lot of my life was being a stronger guy, being able to lift a lot of weight. So in that picture, I'm deadlifting 500 pounds. And in total, with a squat, bench, and a deadlift, I'm able to do 1,200 pounds, which I've been very proud of. And the 3.0 GPA doesn't sound too impressive, but like I said earlier, I moved in Thanksgiving, my freshman year. And in that freshman year, I struggled a lot finding myself and trying to realize that who I was acting was not how I am. And I ended up failing a lot of my classes, which that spiked my GPA very hard, which was a tough hole to get out of. So being able to have said that I earned a 3.0 GPA, I'm quite proud of. And I want to be able to grow from that and not only have a 3.0, but a 4.0 or around that area. So throughout all that, that is who I am. Sorry, I forgot there was one more. So this is what books I think can do for you. They can teach lessons. So a book is full of so much knowledge. It's able to teach you just endless amounts of things that another person might not be able to tell you. A book can also give you perspective, because you're able to learn how someone can act and how a certain person might be throughout a story, because you can learn their own backstory from their perspective. And books are simply just so original. I feel like I can never read a book that is like another book. Every single one is absurdly different, and that is so amazing to me. So my highest English is the current one that I'm in is the English Composition 102. And I've always been behind in my English because of my freshman year. Having failed that, I got put into a lower English class throughout all of high school. So I've always been finding ways to work myself up, which I've always enjoyed to do. I always like having like a kind of an underdog.